Pop's Place presents Walt Disney's Gulliver Mickey, part of Disney's wonderful world of reading. One night, Gulliver Mickey was at sea in his little sailboat. Suddenly, a terrible storm struck. Giant waves washed over the boat. Lightning flashed across the sky. Thunder roared. Boom! Crash! All at once, a huge wave swept over the boat. It tossed Mickey high into the air and threw him across the water. The next thing he knew, he was rolling head over heels on a sandy beach. By this time, Mickey was so tired he fell asleep in the wet sand. When Mickey opened his eyes the next morning, he did not know where he was. He tried to sit up, but he could not move. "I must be dreaming," thought Mickey. He wiggled his arms. They were tied to the ground by tiny ropes. He wiggled his legs. They were tied to the ground too. Then Mickey turned his head to look around. An army of tiny soldiers was marching toward him. Some sat on tiny horses and carried tiny swords. Others were pulling little cannons over the sand. A few of the soldiers crept right up to Mickey. They crawled into his pockets and pulled out his watch. They pulled out his pocket knife. Then they opened his watch. "Help!" cried a little old man whose beard had caught in the wheels. The soldiers had to chop off his long white beard. Now Mickey wiggled as hard as he could. The tiny ropes broke and he sat up. All at once, 100 tiny cannonballs hit his chest. Ping, ping! But they were too small to hurt Mickey. They bounced off his chest and rolled back to the soldiers. A fat little man on a fine brown horse began to shout, "Load the cannons and fire again!" "That must be the leader," thought Mickey. He lifted him right off the ground, horse and all. The angry little man pulled out his sword. "Put me down this minute," he said. "I am the Emperor of Lilliput." Mickey smiled at the tiny emperor. "Don't be afraid of me, your highness," said Mickey. "I do not want to hurt you." Then he told the emperor about the storm that had blown him to Lilliput. "All I want now," he said, "is something to eat." Mickey put the little man back on the ground. "Bring food for the giant," the emperor shouted. "He will not hurt us. He is a friend." The little soldiers hurried away. They knocked on every door in Lilliput. "A giant has landed on the beach," they cried. "Bring all the food you can spare." Soon the Lilliputians came with food for Mickey. They brought wagons full of cheese and baskets full of bread. They had carts filled with fruit and barrels of milk. Mickey scooped up all the food as the people passed by. He ate everything. At first the children were afraid of Mickey, but they soon found out that he was a friend. Mickey played with the children every day. They made seesaws across his shoes and played leapfrog over his fingers. They played hide and seek in his pockets. They climbed up to his knees and slid down his legs. One morning, Mickey went to the beach to sit by himself and think. He had been in Lilliput for many weeks, and the Lilliputians were very kind to him. Still, Mickey was lonely. He thought of his own home far across the sea. He thought about his old friends. "How I wish I could see them again," he said. Suddenly there was a shout. "Ahoy!" cried the lookout on the castle tower. "Enemy boats headed this way." The emperor's soldiers got busy at once. Some of them jumped on their horses and pulled out their swords. Others rolled out the cannons and loaded them. Mickey heard the shouting. "Let me help!" he cried, and he waded out to meet the enemy boats. The little boats came closer and closer. They began to fire their cannons. Ping, ping! The tiny cannonballs bounced off Mickey's chest. Mickey took a deep, deep breath. Then, with all his might, whoosh! He blew the enemy boats right out of sight. When Mickey came back, the Lilliputians cheered. "You have saved our country," said the Emperor. "Now we must do something for you. What do you want more than anything else in the world?"
"You have all been very kind to me," said Mickey. "But still, I miss my own country. More than anything else, I want to go home."
"Perhaps we can help you," said the Emperor. For 2 whole days the Lilliputians worked. They chopped down trees and dragged them to the beach. They mended ropes. They split logs. They hammered and measured and sawed. They sewed dozens of sheets together to make a giant sail. Then they put the sail on a long pole and raised it high into the air. When they were all done, they showed Mickey what they had built for him. It was a raft. Now he had a way to get home again.
"Oh, thank you,"
said Mickey. The Lilliputians filled their rowboats with barrels of food and water. They loaded everything onto the raft, and Mickey climbed aboard. The tiny Emperor stood on the shore. "We will miss Mickey," he thought. As Gulliver Mickey sailed out to sea, he waved goodbye to the Lilliputians. He was sorry to leave his new friends, but he was happy to be on his way home at last. The end. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. I sure hope you enjoyed it.